So here you can see we have these nice French doors that go to the bedroom, and there's no latch to keep them closed. And the problem is the cat will bang into the door and open up in the middle of the night and want to play, and we really need to figure out a way to close them and keep them closed so the cat can have the run of the house but not wake us up. Okay, so the plan is we're going to use what's called a Cremone Bolt on one side, and that'll station that half of the door, and then use a latch on the other door once the other half is stationed. So here's the mechanism for the Cremone Bolt. You can see it's a nice decorative piece that fits on the surface, and underneath you can see when you turn the handle, it extends rods both top and bottom, so that the top rod will station the top of the door against the jamb, and the bottom rod will then station the bottom of the door against the floor. So for the latch, we're using a surface mount latch, and it's a small latch because the frame on the door is quite small. You can see it's the same kind of finish as the Cremone Bolt, and this part goes on the door that is stationary with the Cremone Bolt, and this part goes on the other half as a latch. On the one side, we have a porcelain knob, and it's just a conventional latch. As you can see, the porcelain knob works fine on this side of the door because it pulls away and doesn't interfere with the door. The porcelain knob would not work real well on the exterior of the door because it has to go past the stationary door, and there just isn't enough clearance. This being a small latch, you can see that the knob is very close to the edge of the door, and you'd basically be banging your knuckles against the door. So we're going to replace that side of the door with a lever rather than a knob. So here you can see we're able to find a lever that actually screws onto a standard spindle, which was not all that easy to find, but an outfit called Rejuvenation has that. Got a back plate that goes along with it nicely for the other side of the door. And here you can see the latch set up with the porcelain knob. I should mention that the very small latch that works for us and the Cremone Bolt were both obtained from Signature Hardware. So that's the setup for one side of the door. The other side of the door, we'll use the same lever and back plate and figure out how to make it a dummy stationary type lever. Okay, so to create the dummy latch, you can see we've cleaned off the whole inside to bright metal, and we're going to try and solder it to this back plate so it stays stationary. One of the issues is the collar here is a little bigger than the handle, so we tried some 12 gauge wire. That was a little bit too big, so this is 14 gauge wire in there. We cleaned the metal in the collar. We inserted some 14 gauge wire. Now we're going to insert the handle, position it, and try to solder it in place. Okay, so we got the handle set, and as you'll see, this is the dummy, and it's soldered and it's tight and it's working fine. This is the latch and allows us to go in. Of course, the left door here is not stable yet because we haven't done the Cremone Bolt, but everything seems to be lined up properly. On the inside, you can see we left the porcelain knob, and it's okay, but if we decide, we can always put a lever on this side as well, but you don't have the interference issue that you do on the outside. So this will be good for a while. So it looks like if we just center the Cremone Bolt, the rods will have room to pass by the latch, and that'll be good. We'll just line it up to the top, and bring it all the way down the floor, line it up midway in this side piece. So the thickness of the full depth side panel is 2 5/8. So center line is 1 5/16, and we'll mark that on the door jamb above and the floor below. So you can see we installed the floor strike plate, and we've got the bottom guide, we got the middle guide, and we cut this so that the handle for the Cremone Bolt will be right about here, offset from the door handle below, so they don't interfere with one another. So we know that fully extended, the distance between the two pins that go into the holes on the rods is 4 3/8 inches apart. Even though the rod will extend more than 1/2 inch into the flush mount strike plate, the Cremone Bolt only extends 1/2 inch in each direction. So we'll want to measure from the bottom of the strike plate, top of the door, so the door will be able to open freely when it's retracted and still catch the strike plate when it's extended. And we'll measure down to the pinhole of the bottom rod and do our calculations from there. From the top of the door down to the pinhole, it's just about exactly 37 inches. Especially if you push it up just a touch to get close to the bottom of the strike plate. Okay, so we measured the top rod retracted to the hole of the bottom rod, which is extended since it's in its strike plate, is 37 inches. Both the top and bottom extend 1/2 inch in the extended position. So the top rod hole is 37.5 inches to the bottom hole when extended. The distance between the pins when extended is 4 3/8. Therefore, the top rod in to the hole is 37.5 less the 4 3/8, or 33 1/8. From the distance of the end of the rod to the hole is 1/4 inch. So the total length that we're looking for, end to end of the top rod, is 33 3/8. So we've made our mark at 33 3/8, and now we'll go see if it lines up to where we think it should be. All right, here you have it. There's the handle. There's a mid guide, the end guide, and the catch. And I got to do a little something about that trim piece up there, but right now it's functional and working pretty good. Down the bottom, another midway guide, and the bottom strike on the floor. So first, the catch works fine. And then door swings freely in the disengage mode, locked. It's nice and sturdy, doing exactly like the way it's supposed to. The outside, you can see we put on the brass lever handles. The one on the left is a dummy. That's where the Cremone Bolt is on the inside. Nice and sturdy once we soldered it. This is the latch, and this opens nicely. Close it and it catches. Very nice. Opens freely. And the main thing is the wife's happy.